Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Here we go. It's Tuesday morning. It's the day after we just had a 7 hour long CE Hour education event yesterday, Monday, in Downers Grove. Thank you, everybody who came to that one. That was such a fun freaking day. The next one is on May 19th, same place, Downers Grove. Go to htbbeauty.com. Get registered. It is already more than 50% sold. So we are, again, so grateful and excited that that this event is helpful and interesting for all of you that attend. So today is going to be a little bit of a light, fun day because we're both hurting. I don't think either one of us have really slept. I don't think either of us really even know what the hell is going on right now. But here we are. Here we are going live. As it goes, what did I do with it? I am handling the quiz today.
Well,
and John is actually going to play the answers. And then we're going to have a recap. We're going to talk about some hair color. And the motivation is the fact that we still showed up. I got the motivation today.
that is the motivation.
That is the motivation that we still showed up. Oh my gosh. All right. What is the best haircut for fine straight hair? Is it long layers? Is it a blunt bob? Is it a shag haircut? Or is it a pixie?
I'm going to go with the pixie.
A pixie is the best haircut for fine straight hair?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's with fine hair, it'll be easier to maintain and you don't have to work that hard to get volume out of it.
Long layers would tend to tangle too much. Is that what's the problem with long layers?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
What's the problem with a blunt bob?
But my bob's just going to hang on fine textured hair.
Not going to have too much of a weight line or anything?
Yeah, it's just going to be too blobby.
Would you ever do it? Is there any scenario where you should do a shag on somebody with fine straight hair?
I don't think so, because it'll just look, for lack of a better term, it'll look mulletish, man. Don't you think?
If that's the case, then is a pixie even going to lay right on fine straight hair?
I think it would. I think a pixie would.
All right.
I think with the right products, you can make a pixie look really good on fine hair.
So there's the pros and cons. If anybody got a better idea than that, let me know in the comment section.
Well,
all right,
or you could put extensions. Extensions. That's the answer.
Hair extensions is the best haircut for fine straight hair. Yes, that's what we're going with. Which hair color technique involves painting on color to create a graduated, natural-looking effect? Is it balayage? Is it highlights? Is it ombre? Or is it sombre?
Now, I'm gonna preface that question with, back in the day, we used to do this thing called cracking.
Cracking, okay.
Where you take a glove, you'd paint lightener on the glove, and then scrunch it into the hair.
Ooh.
And then you would just get a little, break the base of wherever that lightener was, and then rinse it off, and then it would give it like subtle highlights. Then we came up with, and then it graduated into hair painting. And then, of course, with everything in our industry, we have to put a new name to everything. And then we came up with balayage, which means to sweep through the hair. Yes, balayage is the answer.
Balayage is the answer. Okay. What is sombre?
I have no clue what sombre is. Sombre, it was me after I fell down those 2 steps yesterday and you peeled my ass off the floor. That was Sombre. That was me sobbing and trying to get myself together because it was not pretty.
Do you remember the what was it? Bali Ombre?
Yes.
The first time you told me about Bali Ombre, and I'm like, are you talking about like a Bollywood movie? Because I had just coincidentally had watched one recently, and then you're telling me about Bali Ombre, and I'm like, oh, I was on that Indian kick, Indian movie kick, and dude, don't even. Those action movies are out of this world. They're freaking amazing. I could sit there and watch them all day.
I'm amazed with like the musical parts of really, since we're completely going sideways on everything today, just so everybody knows. But if you ever watch like the Bollywood musicals with the dancing and the music, it's like 1940s Hollywood.
Dude, you want to talk about a production? That is a production.
Right? Yeah.
And that is not some CGI. They got like 200 people learning the choreography of that moves.
And they better be perfect. They better be perfect.
They are spot on, man. They are spot on.
It's amazing. But yes, I remember Bali Ombre. Do you remember when we first started doing Ombre, where it was just that hard line and it was like two-tone like a Chevy?
Oh, yeah.
And you'd look at people and then they'd let it grow out and you'd look at people and be like, if you're here, who's watching the trailer park? It was so bad. And then we got Bali Ombre, and now we're at balayage. And I can't. Here's the cool part. How cool is this? To speaking of balayage, how cool is that? In talking with people, a bunch of the people yesterday, some of the prices that people are getting for balayage.
Oh yeah.
How fire! I mean, that is dope. I am all in for anybody that can make as much money as they are, especially these balayage experts. God bless them, man. Bless them. I mean, that's dope. And there are people out there that are willing to pay for it too. Hey,
okay.
Man, what a killer freaking industry we got.
It's really awesome. It is. All right, here we go. Where are we? To prevent heat damage while blow drying your hair, what should you always apply first? Should it be hairspray or leave-in conditioner, a heat protectant, or some mousse?
Yes.
Yes. Load your hair up with everything, baby.
Everything but the hairspray.
Why not?
Because you're just going to cook the hairspray off with heat. Everything else you're putting in the hair before. You got
okay, but if you had to choose one, what would be the most vital out of all of those?
Alberto VO5.
My God, they still make that, huh?
I you know what? I like being on this end of the quiz where I can just give random answers.
See, I'm telling you, man, it's awesome.
Obviously, it is a heat protectant. You want to put that on definitely over everything.
I wonder, should we change it up? Should I be asking the questions from now on?
I think for the next couple of weeks, you're going to do the quiz, and I'm just going to be the tool. I'll just be the one that comes up with just random seven.
That's fine. Guess what, then, everybody watching? There's going to be no history, no chemistry. There's going to be nothing for the next few weeks.
Bored.
It's going to be randomness.
So random. It will be. It'll be like, what's your favorite cookie?
Well, what is your favorite cookie that is good for hair growth? That's going to be one of next week's questions. I'm going to actually research that. I'm going to figure that out.
Look, all I'm saying is the hours class that we did yesterday was at the DoubleTree Hilton, and they had these chocolate chip cookies. At 2:30 in the morning, I brought one home, and I was sitting at my breakfast bar just munching on it, enjoying every minute of it, but also questioning all my life's choices at the same time.
Man, it's a good cookie.
It was a great cookie.
It's a good cookie.
I was mad. I should have taken a couple more. All right, what else you got for me here, Chief?
Which type of oh, my voice. Which type of hair extensions typically last the longest? Is it clip-ins, tape-ins, wefts, or keratin strands?
I am gonna go. I know the answer to this question.
Okay.
I do. It's the ones that are gorilla glued in.
So the tape-in, you're going with tape-ins, huh?
I'm going with gorilla glued in K-tip extensions.
Oh man, gorilla glued K-tip extensions.
Yes.
Whoa, I don't even. I'm trying to even think about how would that logistically even work?
Okay, let me explain to you how this happens. Okay, you're gonna take that strand and you're gonna do the Sandy Dunphy. What was the technique we were teaching yesterday?
What, the zero trace?
Zero trace. Okay, you're gonna do the zero trace application to it, and then you're gonna put a bead of Gorilla Glue right on the top, and you're just gonna let it hang in natural fall. That extension's never slipping, never coming out, ever.
If you put a bead of, how would that even? How would you prevent it from getting on your hands? And now your arm is going home with the client's head.
No. Because, like I said, because with the zero trace, you're folding under, right? So you have that little protective layer of the keratin bond on your finger, and you're
is that what you're going with? That little bond is going to protect
and then
it.
you're just going to put a little bead. They make that little micro applicator, just a little bead, and then you're just going to let it fall. It'll dry, and you know what? Never coming out again. Ever.
And then and you're going to let it, how long are you going to let that one section hang at natural fall for it to dry? You know, Gorilla Glue takes like 24 hours to dry.
No. You use the Gorilla Glue, the Gorilla Glue super glue. It dries within like minutes.
Oh, really? What, are you going to hit it with a blow dryer afterwards too to really make sure?
You could do that too. But there you go. We're starting a whole new thing here.
Wow.
But the answer is, I'll screw it around.
Look, I'll tell you this way. At least we have Saul Goodman. Everybody needs a better call Saul, on speed dial after that one.
No. I don't think there's any illegal anything there. Those extensions are not coming out. You're getting your money's worth.
Oh man.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
The BS that we are sitting with right now.
Look, anybody watching, I'm playing around about the Gorilla Glue. Don't put Gorilla Glue in your hair. Please don't.
No, you know what? As somebody watching is like sitting there trying it out, and then they get to this part of the video and they're like, wait, what?
But your K-tip extensions will last the longest.
Keratin strands last the longest. They
yes,
do.
Sir.
They do.
Yes, they will.
They do. Oh my gosh. Well, yesterday we did the 7-hour CE education event. We started at 9 a.m. We were 4 minutes late. We started the program. We actually started the program at 9:04. We were supposed to end at 4:30. We ended at 4:30. We actually ended on time. So it actually worked out really, really nicely. I love it when we do our programs from start to finish that we actually start on time and end on time. It is my all-time favorite thing in the world.
Well, I mean, really, if you
I
look
don't
at
go
it,
to movie theaters anymore because you tell me the movie starts at 2, it don't start till 2:45. It
because of
drives
all
me,
that ads.
it makes me mental.
Actually, you forgot to say that we were there setting up the day before. We were there from 4 to 9 on Sunday, making sure everything was set up so everything would go off without a hitch.
Oh yeah, we spent 5 hours setting everything up on Sunday.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
yeah,
But I'm saying like Monday, the day of, that
yeah,
was awesome.
yeah. We
And here's another fun fact for yesterday. Almost every single hairdresser was there between 8:30 and 9. Like the room was full and ready to go. We started at 9:04.
that was fantastic, and you know what? Everybody there was awesome. Awesome.
It was fun, man. It was fun yesterday.
A lot of interaction, a lot of people seeking knowledge, respectful. It was, I mean, I could go on and on, but what a great day and what a great learning environment that was there. It was fantastic. Then we broke for lunch. We had box lunch brought in for everybody. And then it was funny because watching everybody eat lunch, we come back and they all sit down, and within 5 minutes of sitting down, you see people start doing the and then we got them up, we got them energized, and we I think that's the fastest I've ever cut a layered haircut because I to keep the energy up. I think it was 13 minutes that I did that haircut.
Yeah, man. I know. You're like, all right, we're ready for hair extensions. I'm like, are you done early? You're like, yeah, I got nothing left on it. I'm like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing.
Well, I knew I see the thing cool and human nature. I mean, you feed me, I'm falling asleep. Okay, I mean, and especially those big cushy chairs that they had. It wasn't in the room. They had big office chairs that everybody was sitting in.
Dude, everybody was making comments about how nice the chairs were.
Well, I mean, sit for 7 hours in a folding chair and then sit in one of those chairs and you tell me. Right.
Oh my God.
So I saw people starting to doze. They're starting to nod. So that's why I got, we had to get energy going. So that's why I did the layered haircut so fast. Then you killed it with the hair extensions. When you came out with the K-tips, I have never seen. We had people. This was a tiered room, guys. It was, it was an
auditorium,
amphitheater.
Amphitheater.
And yeah, people were coming from the top row down and sitting on the floor in front of Eddie to watch him do the zero trace technique on a mannequin, and they were enthralled. Phones were out, questions were asked.
Yeah,
it was fire. It was probably, I'm gonna give it. It is probably one of the best educational presentations we've ever done.
I was blown away. I was blown away of how much attention. I knew it was going to get attention. I was not prepared for the level of attention and excitement that, the response, the reception that it had gotten. It was wild.
And we hope someday we're going to have Sandy on for you guys so you can meet her, who she really developed this zero trace extension technique. It is by and far one of the best extension techniques I've ever seen. But I did not, I know people that are interested in hair extensions, but the attention that all these people were given to hair extensions was unbelievable.
You know what was cool for me during that segment was debunking, does hair extensions cause damage? We went from, does hair extension cause damage? Raise your hand. People raise their hand. I start explaining them. I start going through the whole thing with them. And all of a sudden they're like, they went from it does cause damage to, oh, okay.
Right.
And the short and the short and the long of it is it does not cause damage if it's done correctly, just like anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, it's most of the time, like we talked about with all those people, if there is damage in the hair, it is because of a malfunction somewhere, usually human error. Usually, 90% of the time. Now the coolest part, one of the coolest parts for me yesterday was showing the new Keratin Magnificent 7 toners. That was fire. Keratin with the new point and click toners, you put some demi developer in there, and you tone like you normally would. And really the best was when we hit them with, for every minute of toner processing, you get a shampoo. And to watch them all go, no, and then really to explain what is it? What's your the saying? Science is
Science is fun, but science is dumb. It doesn't know what you want it to do. It only knows what you tell it to do.
And that's exactly what hair color is. Hair color only does what you tell it to do. And to watch the light bulbs go off on a bunch of people's heads and them go, oh, yeah. That was amazing. The new toners, you can check them out on htbbeauty.com. They're super cool. And once again, they're ammonia free, so you're not gonna you're doing deposit only with it. We had a lot of fun with color yesterday, and really debunking. Also, that's our word for the day: debunking. Debunking direct dye from oxidative dye for people too.
Oh my God, that was wild. That was wild.
One of the funniest moments yesterday, besides me taking a Brody down a couple of steps, it was a scene. I was like Walter Payton into the end zone.
Dude, you that was an end zone dive. That was a touchdown.
We start talking about color, and Eddie goes, and our primary colors are red, green, and blue. And the whole room. Hold on. Oh.
And I'm just talking. I glazed right through that, and I just kept talking.
He's straight faced. Eddie's straight faced. This guys. He goes, yeah, red, green, and blue are the primary colors, and the whole room does this. And I had to speak up. I'm like, you guys are gonna let him get away with this? And then all of a sudden you get, wait a minute.
There is a psychological thing to that. If you say something with utter conviction, and if you could do it with a poker face, even if it's straight up wrong information, it's like, here. You want another example of it? Read my lips. No new taxes. Any politician ever does this. They say the most outrageous crap with the straight face, and people could just gotta go with it.
It was amazing. It was great. And then that just busted the whole room up. Everybody was dying. It was great. A lot of great color questions. People really wrapping their head around color was awesome. We did introduce a little bit to all nutrient color, but we're really focused on the new Keratin shades, as Darren likes to call them, the Magnificent 7. Out of the corner of my eye yesterday, I watched Darren pacing back and forth. He must have got in about 50,000 steps, and that was by noon. And then we went, and then from there the Xenogen presentation was fantastic. Really talking. We got into the science of Xenogen, where we talked about inflammation, the inflammation of the scalp and the follicle. We talked about some of the side effects from some of the diet drugs that are being taken now, which is hair loss, shedding. We talked about sickness. I mean, it was really great, and everybody just sucked the information up. But and I forgot to grab one. I'm really mad. Kudos to you, my friend, for that booklet that you made.
Oh,
It was Eddie made a true syllabus with everything in it that everybody was going to learn so they could take it with them. Really slick, really cool. So if you want one of those, you need to come to the May 19th May 19th one. Eddie did a fantastic job on that. Then we went right into on-stage extensions, which usually blows everybody's mind. We had such a good time with those. And then we did Care Therapy, Color Lock and Smooth, which is my go-to. I love it. I know you love it. What a great day. It was just a great day. And it was cool to spend 7 hours with a bunch of people in the same industry that we're in. And we're all so like-minded, and they were just wanting knowledge. The coolest part was there was no one that was there just sitting there going, all right, I'm just going to sit here for 7 hours to get hours. You know, everybody was engaged. I thought it was dope. If anybody that was there and watching right now, thank you for making it easy to teach yesterday.
I got a question for you, because this one caught me off guard during the low density haircut that I was doing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden somebody says, what's the difference of you cutting over your fingers?
Oh, that's right.
And I'm like, wait, what? And then other people are like, yeah, you're cutting over your fingers. Well, what technique is that? Like why do we have to do it that way? I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, over. Oh, like it. I was in my little zone. I was in my little moment. I wasn't even, that's how I naturally cut. Right. I don't cut how everybody else normally cuts. I get, is that backwards or differently, or I don't know how to say it. But that threw me off, man. That really threw me off for a minute. Is it really that different?
No, but what it is everybody gets used to their own thing. Because I will cut, cut on top of my fingers too. And I cut underneath. See, I was always taught to cut on top of my fingers because it's a straighter plane than the ridges that are here on the bottom, especially because I have sausage fingers where you go boop, boop, the rounding. I was taught, when you bring the hair up, you cut here. A lot of people will bring it up and they, it's on.
Yeah. It just that was one thing that caught my attention. I was like, wait, I was not prepared for that one.
Yeah,
I really wasn't prepared for that one.
So
it was the most dangerous decision that we had made, and it turned out to be the best decision that we made, was to speed run the segments. To not drag out the segments, to speed run the segments. We actually had more content than we had time.
Yep.
And trying to stay on time for each one of the topics at hand was wild. And it really was the best decision. Not one person told me that it got boring or that they were just waiting for the next thing to happen. Everyone's like, whoa, this is not, everybody kept saying, this is not what I expected. This is way cooler. Like the day is just flying, lunch came and everyone's like, wait, it's already lunchtime. The day we started wrapping up the day and everyone's looking at their watch going, what? Like it's already, the day's already over. Like it was wild. It was really, really wild. The other a cool observation that I had made was, it is my favorite type of crowd when you have young hairstylists, meaning experience wise, 5 years or less. You've got 5 to 10 years, 10 to 20 years, 20 to 30 years. We had a couple of stylists in there that had been in the industry, still active, 40 years and longer and going.
They were amazing. They were so
we
much
had
fun.
5 generations of hairdressers. Okay. We had about 3 different age groups in there. 30 years old or younger, 50 years old or younger, 80 years old or younger. I mean, everybody was in there. And we had a freaking variety of people in there as well, too. And it was freaking awesome. I love when we are in a room and I get to make my favorite announcement of all time, which is I don't give a crap where you're from, what you are, who you are. We are talking education. Your opinions and politics be damned. We are doing education. And everybody unanimously gives me a yes, let's do this. And the first off color thing that comes out of one of our mouth and everybody starts laughing. And it's like, yes. We are all fueled by caffeine and hatred together.
Right. It's we are it was such a great day. What a great day. Exhausting but fantastic. We are very lucky that we have someone like Darren who just cuts us loose and lets us do what we think is best. The amount of energy that was in that room, though, man, was fantastic.
It was wild, man. It was wild.
It was fantastic. Really we got to throw shout outs to Carm and Dominic for helping us, because without them, the day would not have gone off. And really, the DoubleTree Suites in Downers Grove, man, they do it right. They did us right. That meeting room is great. Once again, we'll be back there on the 19th of May to do the same thing. I need a nap.
I know, man. It's wild. Well, before you go take a nap, before you mentally check out, I got another topic for you. I got another question for you.
What's that?
So we were talking about the Magnificent Seven. We're showing off all the different tonal colors.
Right.
And I liked how, for the display purposes, we had split the hair in half.
Right.
We had done one half with one color and one half with another color just to show the comparison and the difference, right?
Right.
But it really got me thinking, because when we were talking about highlighting and when we're talking about color placement and we're talking about, how to use these colors straight by themselves or mix them with other things, some people love mixing different colors together, which is awesome. And that's very creative. But more people than not feel more comfortable just mixing a straight color with developer.
Correct.
So now my question becomes, by the time you're creatively layering or placing, like what kind of placement strategies or ideas do you usually employ when you're layering different colors, multidimensional tones together? So if somebody is not comfortable with mixing, they can still create dimensional color.
Oh, I see.
Am I wording that correctly? Is that making sense?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. That's got to go. It goes all the way back to your consultation. First things first is talking with your client about what are we looking at here? What effect do we want to create? Because I have some clients I have one client, she wants it darker around her face and brighter more towards the back. So really, truly placement for me, I tend to overlay light over dark. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Or more of a sheer tone over the top of a more of a matte tone. Same thing, right? Does that make sense?
Is there a strategy behind that? Is there a reason why you specifically do it that way?
I do it that way because then usually you get to see that juxtaposition of the two colors. Really, when that hair moves, you catch pieces of the light, you catch pieces of the dark, to where if you have something light and then you overlay dark on it, you're only, if the wind blows or the hair moves a certain way, you're only going to catch it. I personally like to go dark on light on top of dark. But once again, and then that also comes into play too, is how are you putting those colors in? Are you putting those colors in just a straight, bricolage pattern, or are you going in vertically with them? Are you doing diagonals on it? It all depends on truly the effect you want, right? Because if you place it on a diagonal, you're going to get more disbursement towards the higher end of the diagonal than you are the back end, right? It just truly all depends. Once again, you got to take into account, because really, what is color? Color is a reflection of light, right? So where do we want the most impact in this design, or do we not want to make an impact and we just want to be subtle? Once again, that's like when you're doing your weaving patterns. I mean, when you're doing a highlight, okay, does everybody get the same weave from you?
No, not at all. Yeah.
Once again, it's the same thing. That's also the same thing with highlights and lowlights. When you start placing them with your lowlights, are you slicing? Are you doing a fine slice, a heavy slice, or are you doing just another weave on top of a weave? That's all completely up to your design decision. So with placement, it really starts with the consultation, and then it comes with, just like with extensions, it comes with, you really got to map out what your color is going to be before you start applying, right? And you really have to
mapping out what your color is going to be beforehand. I really believe that the haircut needs to be talked about. Like the finished style really needs to be addressed and talked about, because even if you're not, like, there are some people who are color specialists. They do not style, they do not finish, they don't cut or finish hair. And that's okay. If that's what you're choosing to do, that's fine. There's even some stylists that partner up and they departmentalize. Some do the color and another stylist does the cut. And that's totally fine too. I did that for years in the beginning when I first started. There's nothing wrong with that. But that communication together matters so
100%.
much, because
100%.
the worst, like in the beginning, some of the biggest mistakes I made was I went in and I would put in highlights where I thought would be really fun to put a highlight in. And then half of those highlights would get cut, due to how the client's style, how she wanted her style to be. So the stylist would cut half of the highlights away, and I would be so angry because my color was literally ruined. It looked goofy. I had to go back in and redo the color, and vice versa. Sometimes I ruined a couple of haircuts just because however they styled it, no matter what they did, the color was just popping right there, and it was freaking out the client.
Right. And that's why there's no such thing as color to cut to color. They got to work in harmony with each other. It's got to be. And that's why, where I was before, we were departmentalized, and I would always have conversations with the stylist before starting the color. We would do a quick consultation with the client. This is what we're doing. What are you seeing haircut wise? Talk with the client about the haircut. And that way it was a true, for lack of a better term, work of art. It really was. It was a true style for them, color and cut, because they're harmonious. They really are.
They really, really are. Because if you got a crap cut and a good color, you can still make it passable. And vice versa. If you have a crap color but a good cut, you can make it, passable. But if you have no plan or no communication between the two, then one's going to show off the discrepancy of the other, and then it doesn't matter at that point. Everybody's pointing fingers at each other. But you got to redo all the complaining and the pointing fingers you want. That client ultimately is not happy, and that's not what we're about.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. So, yeah.
Did you ever watch Married with Children?
Oh yeah.
There was a lot of Bundy quotes. There's a lot of Al Bundy quotes, okay? But I'll tell you, man, something that I personally enjoy more than the quotes themselves is when he would go off on his tangent and do one of his Al Bundy speeches. And I just would just crack up because, you know, back then they actually did record in front of live studio audiences.
Really?
Yeah, they actually did. That was not a laugh track that was in there. That was actually in front of live studio audiences. And you know that because, you know, like when Kelly would walk in or when Al would walk in, you know, he'd walk in, he'd say a line, and then he'd have to like stop and stand there for a moment, waiting for the laughter and the cheering to calm down so he can go into his next, you know, deliver his next line and start acting again. Okay. And it was when he'd start giving his speeches, when he'd start going off on his rants, and the audience would just start getting worked up, and you could see it in his face, like, holy cow. But one of the things that I don't remember exactly the scene, but Peggy was riding his butt about something and him being a loser, just like she did every episode, because that was the character, you know, that was the whole thing. And he was like, he got worked, you know, usually he'd get beaten up, but like once in a while he'd stand up to his wife, he'd stand up to Peggy, and he'd be like, you know what? I'm not a loser, I'm a man. You know why I'm a man? Because I wake up in the morning. I don't want to wake up. I wake up in the morning, okay? I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I don't want to do anything. But guess what? I take a shower. I get dressed, all right? And you think it's fun taking that drive in that rush hour more. You know, the show is set in Chicago.
Right.
So Chicago traffic, especially on 90, everybody knows 90 is always under construction all year round. There's never a time when 90 is not under construction. I don't give a crap. I've been in Chicago since 1994. It's 2025 right now. 90 pisses me off. It pisses off everybody, okay? I do not understand the traffic on there. I don't. They've even expanded the damn thing to like 5-6 lanes wide, and it's still freaking traffic. I don't get it. Right. But that's Bundy. He's like, you think I enjoy driving to work in that traffic? You know, no, I don't. But guess what? I still stand in there. The car's got no air condition. Nothing works in the car. I'm melting. You know, I'm sweating my ass off. I get to the, you know, and he worked in a mall in a shoe store. So he'd make comments about the clientele at the shoe store. And he goes, you know, and I work for pennies. I work for peanuts. And I come home with my measly paycheck to a family that doesn't even acknowledge me or like me or whatever. And I do that day in and day out. He's like, and guess what? I do it. Not because I want to, because I have to, because I gotta provide. I gotta put food on the table. I have to do my job, you know? And the audience is like, it's going nuts. And he has to like stop, stand there and wait for everybody to calm down so he could finish the scene. But the little grin that he's got on his face,
oh yeah,
from the reaction from the audience, you know what I mean? And just me right now, I am exhausted. My voice, my throat freaking hurts, and just the passion and the excitement I'm in right now, just remembering that. If that's not a motivation, so if that's not a motivation, I don't know what the hell is, man.
So your motivation for the week is Al Bundy.
Damn straight. Love and marriage.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Al Bundy, baby. If you are not familiar with the show Married with Children, you are missing out. If you are not familiar with Al Bundy, simply go to YouTube. Well, you're already on YouTube watching this. Just go to the search bar and just type in Al Bundy. And you will be down a rabbit hole. And you would look at this guy and say, this character, the misery of how this character was written. And yet, there's a military guy on YouTube too. He's got a baseball cap, and it says, "I exist out of spite."
Yep. Yep.
If that is not Al Bundy to a T.
So
So that is the motivation, man. You know,
So the
it's
motivation
exhausting.
is when you walk into work tomorrow and you see at 4:00 you've got your Susan who's going to ruin your whole day.
At 9 o'clock in the morning, you're looking at your 4 o'clock.
At 9 o'clock, you're looking at your 4:00, and you have that you feel your stomach drop for that one client. Just remember, what would Al Bundy do? He would grind through it.
It's a grind, man. As it's exhausting sometimes.
I like it.
Existing in life sucks sometimes, but you have to grind, man.
I like the Al Bundy. Al Bundy. Al Bundy.
A little bit of silliness for the day we had from yesterday, you know.
The fact that we actually pulled this off, that we're doing this right now, is amazing to me because Anyway, so just to recap everything, we are going to do this all again. The 7-hour class on the 19th of
Monday, May 19th.
Monday, May 19th, Doubletree Suites, Downers Grove, HTBbeauty.com. Tickets are still available. We're about halfway sold out.
No, we're over halfway sold out now.
Over halfway. Darren said,
yeah, you don't have numbers from the weekend. We're halfway, so I just peeked at it this morning.
Yeah, well, I'm going on what Darren told me on Sunday night.
Yeah.
So, I blame Darren. And check it out. It's if you're in Illinois, it was actually a very fast day. And we there's a lot of knowledge. We had a lot of fun, and you leave with some cool stuff. So I think that's it. And I think next week we'll be back. Eddie's going to do the quiz next week. I'm going to completely turn it sideways. Just remember, don't use Gorilla Glue on extensions. And we will thank you guys, everybody who watches and supports us. And we will catch you next week.
Got it.
The SFTB podcast was not recorded in front of a live studio audience, so thanks for joining us for today's episode. If our hair topics made you smile, give us a thumbs up. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'll read them while waiting for our caller to process. Share this video with your stylists and friends. It helps us make a difference, one strand at a time. And don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Because your hair deserves all the latest and greatest tips.